How come nobody's wearing green today?
I was wearing green,
And
and
I realize that
I
a
have
third of this
green
podcast can't
underneath.
see green. But
I don't care about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, me neither. I do have a really bad St. Patrick's Day dad joke, if you'd like to hear that.
Let's hear it.
Do it.
What's Irish and stays out all night? It's so
know.
bad. I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
Patty furniture. Yeah, told you it was bad.
Wow. All
That's
right,
dumb.
Cameron, hit it.
Hit it, Cameron.
Yes!
R.I.P. Gumble.
It really is March. That was so good.
So good. He's going to sing One Shining Moment after the national championship game, too.
Do you know the words of One Shining Moment, Cam? Besides One Shining Moment. You don't know how it starts? Isn't it? What is it? The ball is tipped?
The ball is
tipped.
Landon, chew it.
I'm so glad that
Okay.
Cameron got nominated as the singer on this podcast.
I got it. Whoever loses in dead last in this March Madness Survivor pool has to sing One Shining Moment after the tournament on the podcast.
The whole song?
The whole song.
I'll participate as long as it doesn't end up being me. Because I'm not doing that. And there's a very, very good chance I'm going to end up.
Okay. Here, how about this? You have to sing it to the first chorus of One Shining Moment. So you don't have to sing the whole song. You just have to get to One Shining Moment and give us one good line. And then
what I know for sure, though, is that I put on a hell of a shower concert.
This will be the only time I hate the song. I love One Shining Moment.
Yeah, you're going to ruin it forever.
I love
There's no reason to be scared, Harrod, because only a choke artist would finish last.
I see.
Would you say there's no reason to be scared?
That was worse than patio.
That's bad. That was bad.
Patio furniture.
That was so bad.
This all sucks.
I'm so sorry.
Nobody's listening anyway.
Somebody intro this thing.
All right, Zachy.
All right.
Are you ready?
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
You know, they have those nerds clusters, which is new. Yeah, which is good.
10-5! Touchdown!
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream rise to the top, oh yeah.
What are we doing?
Wild long faces. We're not dead yet.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Welcome to Press Box After Dark. Today is Wednesday, March 19th. I always have to look at the computer screen to know what the hell day it is anymore. And it is March Madness. We've made it. I can't believe we've made it. How many brackets do you guys fill out? What's the protocol here, Hunter? What do you do down there in Arkansas? You fill out are you a one bracket person? Do you fill out 10? Like when I was in college, I filled out 10. What do you do that? What do you do?
I've gotten to the solid number of 4. So I have my first bracket, which is like my legit, I think this team is going to win. I go all the way through and I think about that. And then the second bracket I flip most of my 50-50 games. So if it's an 8-9 and I pick the 9 the first time, I'll flip it. And then I go from there and I try to pick a different champion in my second bracket. My third bracket, I legitimately flip a quarter. The higher seed is heads and the lower seed is tails. And then the last bracket I do all lower seeds. So the lowest seed wins no matter what. And then I try to see how far that bracket makes it without being completely eliminated, and it does not go far.
Okay, so you have a whole system.
I love
Yep,
that
that
they're
is my
all
system.
different, though.
Yeah,
Good
that's
for
a
you,
lot
man.
to keep track of.
It is. Yeah, yeah.
Herod, what do you do? Do you?
Well,
I know you're not a college basketball guy,
yeah,
but I
it's
know
not really my
you
thing.
got a
But
March Madness bracket.
yeah, I fill a couple out every year. I used to fill out like 4 or 5 just because I would fly through them in a minute, like literally a minute. And now I'm in a couple of different bracket challenge deals. So I'll go fill out the bracket challenge, and then I'll just join the other group and use the same bracket. This year in Hunter's bracket thing, I filled out 2 brackets, but that's the first time I filled out 2 in the same group. So I'm up to 3 this year, and I could be persuaded to do another one. But the one that I duplicated into Hunter's group is always my homer pick, and I try to go who's geographically closest to me, and how far can they go. So I try to end up with like Texas and Houston, or Texas Tech and A&M, or something like that in the finals. And then this year I actually filled one out like, oh, in my very, very limited watching of college basketball this year, this is who I think might actually win. So
And that's when you go with the Blue Bloods.
Yeah, I ended up with Duke. Surprise.
So the year Texas Tech lost to the national championship, or the year Baylor won it all, you might have been all right.
I had Tech in the finals that year, and then
there you go.
Excuse me, then they blew it, but because they're Texas Tech. But
You mean
what?
Oh, last year.
No, that they weren't in the
No.
national championship last year, buddy.
18 or 19 or whatever.
No, I know they got robbed in that.
You were in like 7th grade.
The one right before COVID hit. Yeah. Landon, since you said more words just now than you usually do,
hammer the over.
What's your bracket system, buddy?
I fill it out how I feel. There's not really a need or a order to the madness. I just kind of go for it.
The madness. I see what you did there.
Yep. I like a couple of different some upsets in there. Some 13 seeds going to the Sweet 16. I always like to throw in there just to.
Do you only fill out one?
No, I usually end up with a couple. I do one real and then one what I call heart once, which is always ends up Tech winning the national championship. Is it going to happen? I hope so. Probably not this year, but
I don't think there's a clear front runner this year, man. I think they've got as good a chance as anybody.
I mean, it should be West Virginia, but
oh man, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Don't. Cam, what's
Sorry,
your?
Cam, I had you.
No way.
Twist that knife in a little early tonight. Huh?
Oh man, Cam, how you doing, bud? We'll get to your heartbreak in a little bit. What's your bracket system first, Landon?
My system is.
I'm not following the script.
Yeah, thanks, Landon. Thanks for deciding to speak up.
The one time Landon says words on the pod.
Exactly. My bracket system is pretty simple, I guess. As soon as the bracket gets released, I immediately fill one out in like a minute, just like gut feeling each game, and I don't look at anything. I just gut feeling for each game, and then I fill one out like Landon said. My heart, what I want to happen, or what I strongly feel is going to happen, and then I have a third bracket where I just like what Hunter said. I just analyze every game and actually pick who I think is going to win each game.
So you would have been good with James Madison last year.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was actually a strong portion of the bracket for me because I picked them to beat Wisconsin last year. So that was
Did they
that
get
was
to the
pretty
Sweet
good.
16?
No, we lost to Duke in the second round.
Duke. Okay, yeah. Oh man, yeah. I have to fill one out on my paper first before I can enter it, because now you can just fill out however many you want on your phone. But I gotta visualize it and see it first.
I respect that.
I usually hold off and fill out a couple, and then I kind of put my final one together based on what I like from the two. But It doesn't ever matter. My system's always bad because it never works, so it doesn't matter what
I don't
I
know
do.
if there's a good system for picking March
I might as well
Madness.
have my son do it. He's 18 months old. Let's just do that. We'll just have our kids do it someday for us while they're all under 5 years old, and we'll probably have better luck.
Right
My
before-
kid last year picked the bowl season, and she had a better bowl record than I did. So she had a very efficient system where I would show her the logos, and she would decide which logo she liked better, and then she ended up with a better bowl record than me. So
nice. Right before we got on, I saw a bracket that was filled out as if each team that won had the heavier mascot, and the championship game was between St. John's and Mount St. Mary's.
tough.
Oh, literally in pounds.
A red storm versus a mountain.
Oh my god, that's fun. Yeah, I like St. John's. That might not be a bad pick. Hunter, what are we doing? We talking college hoops? That's it.
I love how we bring a new guest on the podcast and Zach completely forgets about Grandma Cass.
And she's literally in the same house.
No. You always do the guest intro. What are you talking about?
I thought we were adding her on as a new member of the pod, so I was like, Zach's going to take care of this. I don't have to build up Grandma Cass at all. And now here I am.
Intro stuff.
All right, peeps. Well, Grandma Cass is here today.
This is a daily occurrence in the home. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, well, Grandma Cass, I'm gonna take Zach's question from him and take his duties.
Zach, you should do the intro now. Just to piss him off.
Worst landlord ever.
Hey, by the way, we've got Grandma Cass on the pod, folks. If you were wondering who the female voice of this group is,
it's
just not me.
Damn it, suck it, Hunter. Get out of here. Late ass, bitch ass, showing up.
Let's record at 8. Don't you come with us.
Then won't intro. He'll plug our socials in 45 minutes. Jesus.
Hey, you pipe
That
down
was a
over
lot
there.
of pent up. That was a lot of pent up.
I'm gonna
pipe
go out
down
on a
over
limb.
there.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say of the 6 people here that Cass actually watches the most college basketball.
Not
Cam,
this
was that
year.
your dick?
What just happened here?
I'm so glad we're not recording video.
Well, it might make more sense than people hearing me say, Cam, was that your dick?
You're not recording video, then why do I have a shirt on?
Great question.
Show the T-Files.
We still have an intro cast.
Cass,
Yeah, welcome, Cass.
how many brackets do you fill out?
Anywhere between 1 and 34.
34.
Oh.
It's a very
Just
specific-
however many I can write down.
You fill an extra
I don't
one
know.
out every single year that passes
Basically,
She fills
yeah.
one out for
No.
every team to
Wait,
win the title.
do you fill one out at the end of each round? And then it gets more accurate each time?
No,
how you
I
get a
just
perfect
feel
round.
like, I don't know, how many different outcomes are there? Probably
Well, at
like
least
4
4.
million. That's how many brackets I fill
Yeah.
out, so I can make sure I have a perfect one. No, realistically, probably between like 4 to 5 every year. I have no system whatsoever, but I don't have a system for living life, so that's pretty
do
on
5
brand.
different brackets, or do you replicate them?
No, it would be like 5. I would do 5 different ones.
I respect
Sometimes
it.
the same champion, but
Yeah, inevitably, sometimes. You get
yeah.
I'm with that.
But yeah, usually I just look at what I've done and be like, let's do this a little different. This a little
I filled
different.
out 2 of them this year for Hunter, specifically in hopes of one of them hitting a little better and me getting roasted publicly a little less.
Well, it used to be so easy. You always would do your 1 seeds advance, but now we've had 2 16s win. You know, like it's hard to know what's the mix of upsets and chalk. It's impossible. It's
And where will Rick Barnes and where will Tom Izzo inevitably lose too early?
and
I
which
do love.
which bracket is going to look like a fucking dumpster fire, and it's going to have all these double-digit seeds in your Sweet 16 and Elite 8.
I do love how the Tournament Challenge app gives you the stats on like how many people chose the upsets and how many are left and stuff. I appreciate that part of the app because that's always interesting.
I've been lucky on the women's side the last couple of years, just being an Iowa fan, because I put them in the national championship game just because that's what I wanted. But to see them actually get there. But on the men's side, I'm always wrong. I'm like, oh, Duke's good this year, and then Lehigh beats them in the first round. It's like, what the? So I don't know.
I will say they put out a graphic. I don't remember which. I don't know if it's CBS Sports or ESPN or whoever the hell it was, but they put out a graphic of the records for each first round matchup.
I saw this since like 2016 or something.
Since 2018, and 1v16 is 22-2, which is the same record as 3 versus 14, 22-2.
Wow.
Which is just something you would never think ever in a million years. And so like I thought that was wild that there were like that 3 versus 14 has been 3-3-3. And then my favorite
is Abilene Christian.
True. But one of my favorite one was the 7-10 matchup only has 23 matchups. And a bunch of people replied and was like, the number's wrong. This should be blah, blah, blah. And I just was like, no. 7v10, VCU versus Oregon, COVID year. VCU got COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Bitches.
VCU couldn't play because they got COVID.
And so Oregon just got pushed to the second round. So there's no game.
I forgot about that. My God.
I do love, though, like the excitement of March Madness. There's nothing like it because now, like that we have seen a 16 beat a 1, it still hasn't happened with, like a double-digit seed winning the national championship, even making a national championship game. But nothing in my mind like gets me more excited than March Madness because I truly feel like on that Thursday when the first game tips off, anybody in the field can win. Like it realistically, it's like, is St. Francis going to go on a run? No, they're not. Their mascot's great, but they're not going to go on a run. However, it's kind of like you get that little sense of like hope, like, you know what? Maybe this is the year that Robert Morris goes on a tear. Like, like the schools you've never heard of, they win that one game and it's like they just take over the world. And it's just the coolest thing to see to me. And that's why I love it so much.
I would argue the best 2-day stretch of the sports calendar year is the Thursday, Friday, the first round, because while the Saturday, Sunday's good, it's half, it's only half the number of games. That first 2 days where it's just 13 straight hours of 32 games. There is nothing like it. Nothing like it in sports. That's my opinion. I could be wrong about that.
I saw a tweet today, and I don't know that everybody else was going to appreciate this as much as me and Cass and maybe Zach, but the guy that ended up being the guy that ran Twitter when UMBC beat Virginia, he became like a semi-celebrity in like the sports information world because he just ended up being the guy on Twitter that night, and it wasn't like actually his sport. But I saw that he tweeted out today that he and many other support staff on that squad around that team never got rings for anything. And I'm like, dude, like, say what you want, but that guy like was actively part of, at the time, the biggest upset in March Madness history.
Literally.
And he was like the reason people are like Googling what the heck is UMBC, like, and he got literally Jack Doodley out of it, man. And
wasn't even so given an opportunity to purchase one.
That's so bad, man. Be better.
Yeah,
and that's the first. There'll never be another first. And they won by 20. They killed them.
Well, and that's the thing. But what he did,
was outstanding.
What he did put them on the map just as much as the game.
Yes.
Because people weren't just watching the game. They were like, oh, we have to watch the game and we have to see what they're saying on Twitter. Like, that was part of the experience. Like, that was a whole part. Yes. And
support your support staff.
Oh, exactly. Another one that I follow is St. Peter's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Their
Peacocks.
Twitter was fantastic when they went on that Elite Eight run. I still follow their account on both the Press Box After Dark Twitter and on my own personal Twitter because it's just
They did make the Elite Eight. That
made the
year.
Elite Eight
They
as a
made
15
the
seed.
Elite Eight.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like that. You're right. I think that's one thing to me that, like, when working in athletics, I'm missing conference championship rings that I was promised that I never got, and that's one thing that is
That's
always grinding my gears because everybody who works in athletics that is a part of something, especially at that lower level, it takes all of us. Like, yes, the players and the coaches worked harder than anybody to get that win.
And they
But
deserve the
everything-
accolades they get too. Absolutely.
Yeah. But everything else that goes into it, the social, getting them there, getting them organized, getting everything booked, all the travel taken care of, making sure everybody's eligible academically, all those people had something to do with UMBC doing the one thing that nobody thought would ever happen. And those people deserve at least an opportunity to buy a ring, you know, because if the university can't do it, or if there's not a donor that wants to step forward that says, you know what, I'll cover this, then you have to give everybody an option like, hey, here's a discounted price. We literally cannot buy you a ring, but you mean enough to us. Do you want to buy the ring? Or I've seen in some situations where the coach buys the ring for the people who, you know, are at that fringe area where we're like, we ran out of rings, but I got to get a ring for so-and-so. And the coach steps up and says, you know what, I'm buying a ring for you because you did this for us and we couldn't do it without you.
The two that I was part of in Abilene, both of the head coaches stepped up and said, listen, either you guys can buy one for him or I can buy one for him. But both of those coaches were like, because we didn't have live stats, we didn't have video. It literally was Twitter and our website. Like, that's how people knew that we were winning our first conference championship in the WAC. And then the second one a week later. And both the coaches were like, we literally could not have done this without him. And I'm like, you quite literally could have, but I appreciate the consideration. And they still sit on my desk. And I've been at 2 different jobs since then.
The night that ACU beat Texas, one of our biggest tweets was just one that, because I'm doing all the stuff as the game's happening, and all of a sudden our website crashed, which obviously
traffic
is a good thing because that's how many people are going to it. And the university's website crashed that night too, about the same time. And so that I just put that on Twitter. I was like, hey, by the way, our website has crashed. Usually that's bad. Tonight it's really good or something. And that was like our biggest tweet of the night, you know? And so it's just like, I feel for that guy in that moment because you're just,
and it's not an exact science. Like, you don't know what's going to hit and what's not.
Yeah. A tweet that you would never think would blow up, you know, just goes crazy.
I think the one that got the most traffic that I put out that night was I just screenshotted the ESPN alert. I screenshotted the ESPN alert and put the world on notice.
Yeah.
And that did better than our graphic, which I hated our graphic for that, honestly.
Sorry.
Now we're just trashing.
Thumbs
stuff.
down.
I'm here for it.
Thumbs
What's
down.
On our agenda?
Well,
and where is Landon?
Landon left.
Why is Cameron staring at his feet?
Hunter, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, we got a couple of things there. Cameron is resting his voice because he's about to go on a rant here in a little bit. We're going to give him the floor and let him take center stage and get something off his chest. But we are also going to do a quick little previews of the people who do have teams in the tournament, what we think about their first round matchups, do a little quick, do you think your team's actually going to win? I think our only one that has a chance there is Landon. And then to wrap us up, we're going to do a March Madness survivor pool. We're going to draft 4 teams from 4 different seed lines. Whoever has the team that makes it the furthest, doesn't have to be a specific seed, just one of your 4 teams, whoever makes it the furthest wins our first ever Press Box After Dark March Madness survivor pool. But I just said who we are. Zach said at the top, we are Press Box After Dark. We are a group of friends that all met working together in college athletics, and nothing in my mind, you know, just puts that point forward more than the fact that we literally have people on this podcast telling you the experience of being in a NCAA tournament when a 14 beats a 3 and you're in charge of Twitter and all these people are just flooding to your website and it crashes. Like, that's who we are. That's us to a core. That is us. And if you want to help us grow, if you want to help us, continue to do this, follow our podcast on Spotify and YouTube at Pressbox After Dark. You can also follow us on Twitter at PressboxAD. In our Twitter bio is PressboxAfterDark.com. We do have weekly blogs. We cover Major League Baseball, college football, the NFL, the TV show Survivor, Deal or No Deal Island. With Grandma Cass coming on, too, we might get some more basketball coverage as well, maybe. I don't know. We'll let her creative talent shine in the blog space as well. PressboxAfterDark.com, PressboxAD on Twitter, and then Pressbox After Dark on Spotify and YouTube, guys. But I don't think there's anything else that we needed to start with today in this episode of March Madness than what happened on Selection Sunday yesterday as we're recording. So I would like everybody to be quiet. I'm going to set a timer. As you all know, if you're a loyal listener of this show, all 5 of you, and to the people who stumble across this because March Madness is going to make the algorithm hit, Cameron is a West Virginia fan. West Virginia, they got screwed. They got screwed out of being in the field of 68. And we want to give Cameron his floor to get his feelings off his chest to the NCAA selection committee. So, Cameron, without further ado, tell us what you're thinking about as your West Virginia Mountaineers got left out of the big dance.
Yeah, crimes were committed yesterday. This was always going to be my hang the banner, so I'll go ahead and say it. Hang the banner, UNC Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham. And the athletic director at UNC, Bubba Cunningham, is, of course, the chairman of the NCAA selection committee. And the banner reads in big letters, committed grand larceny on live television. The selection committee, and I've written this down so I have all my facts straight. The selection committee, in a shocking decision not only to myself or to West Virginia fans, but to the entire country, has somehow left West Virginia, among others, out of the field of 68. And I don't know what's worse, the fact that teams like West Virginia, Indiana, or Ohio State didn't get in, or the fact that teams like UNC, Texas, Xavier, and San Diego State did. I think it's funny. They announced the bracket, and then they showed the last 4 teams in the first 4 teams out. You got the last 4 teams of Texas, Xavier, San Diego State, and UNC. And you got your first 4 teams out of West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Boise State. I think you could have flip-flopped all 4 of those teams and had a better bracket. It's not just West Virginia for UNC. It's not West Virginia for Xavier. I think you could literally flip-flop all 4 of the last 4 in and the first 4 out teams, and you could have had a better bracket than what you ended up with. So that's where we start off. I think it's a flat-out embarrassment what happened yesterday. So here's where I'll start. There's a Twitter account called @BracketProject. Which I'm sure many of you saw tweets from or tweets about yesterday. The account follows all major bracketology groups and metrics. Their website, bracketmatrix.com, which was created in 2011, tracks the bracketology of 111 different sources. On Selection Sunday, all 111 sources had West Virginia in the tournament, essentially declaring them not even part of the bubble. To give you an idea of how accurate these sources are, out of all 111 different brackets, one bracket had 63 of 68 teams correct, one bracket had 64 of 68 teams correct, and the rest had 65 or more teams correct. I say all that to say that these sources are legit, well-trusted, and incredibly accurate year after year. For every single source to have a team firmly in the tournament and then for them to not be selected is embarrassing for this committee. With West Virginia being left out, They are the first team since the creation of the Bracket Matrix website to be considered a unanimous lock to be left out. So then the fans and the entire nation had the appropriate response of, okay, we need an explanation. Immediately after the bracket gets released, UNCAD committee chairman Bubba Cunningham, along with a fellow committee member, went live on not ESPN, CBS, to explain different areas and different reasonings for their selections in the bracket. And kudos to CBS. I was watching this live, and I was really worried that they weren't going to ask any tough questions. I was worried they were going to tee some up for him and not ask him any of the difficult questions. But after a question or two, and I'm paraphrasing, but they essentially asked him, why did UNC get in over some of these other teams? And obviously he declined to talk directly about UNC because he's not allowed to. But he let his partner talk about UNC, and then he also went into what went into the decision. And here's where it starts to get funny. He began by citing other rankings, saying, we brought in other metrics this year, such as Torvik. The Torvik is not a new metric, but it's one that was recently, that according to Bubba Cunningham, was adopted this year and taken into account. West Virginia is 34th in the Torvik, and UNC is 36th in the Torvik. So they're not as good as West Virginia there. He also cited the WAB, the WAB. I'm not familiar with this metric. I don't know how old it is, but West Virginia is ahead of UNC in that metric as well. So he cited two specific metrics that they use to determine the field, and UNC somehow still got in, even though he cited those metrics specifically. He then talked directly about West Virginia. He said West Virginia had an outstanding year and that it was unfortunate because Tucker DeVries was out with an injury. For those who don't know, Tucker DeVries, also the son of head coach Darren DeVries, came into this season as the top transfer in the country, was thought to be an All-American talent and a possible draft pick after the season. 8 games into the season, Tucker gets hurt and our team had to adapt on the fly. But that was 8 games in to the season. Tucker's last game played was on December 6th. We then went on to beat Kansas on the road without him. We beat Iowa State without him, and all while playing with a rotation of at most 8 players. And from that turmoil grew Javon Small, who turned into the scoring leader in the conference, a unanimous first-team All-Big 12 selection, and a third-team All-American, all while being the main focus of every single defense that we played this season. I say all of that to say that using Tucker DeVries' injury as an excuse to leave this team out doesn't add up, and it reeks of a committee that was grasping for any excuse to keep West Virginia out of the tournament. At the end of the day, the stats speak for themselves. West Virginia had 6 quad 1 wins, while UNC went 1-12 versus the same caliber of opponents. West Virginia's 6 quad wins are tied with all of the last 4 in teams' quad 1 wins combined. West Virginia also went undefeated versus quad 3 and quad 4 opponents, while UNC managed to lose a quad 3 game. None of this makes any logical sense. If we're going to have all these metrics available to our disposal and we claim that quad 1 results matter the most in the committee's eyes, then why don't their decisions reflect those notions? I'll leave you with this. Bubba Cunningham may not have been in the room for the UNC discussions, but do you think his buddies wanted to disappoint him? Bubba is set to receive over $100,000 in bonuses due to UNC making the tournament and is set to make more depending on the success of the team in the tournament. Whether correct procedures were followed or not, this is not okay. So then where do we go from here? Well, today, the governor of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey, held a press conference where he threatened action and recommended investigation into the NCAA. While this will absolutely not get West Virginia into the tournament, hopefully it will at least raise some serious concerns and hopefully spark change in the criteria for who is selected to be on the selection committees, such as these. The widely popular opinion nationwide that I've seen, at least over the past 24 hours, is that no active administrators should be allowed to participate in these types of committees. And frankly, it seems like that should be common sense. And while the West Virginia governor's words or actions, we talked about this today with Jordan, while those words or actions may seem desperate or childish, keep in mind that this is the exact same person. He's in his first year as governor of West Virginia. He was the attorney general for the state last year. He's the exact same person who sued the NCAA last year regarding transfer eligibility rules, where he and his team won that case, forcing the NCAA to ease restrictions. So I wouldn't just expect this to blow over. He is absolutely going to do what he feels is necessary to support the program, regardless of how some may view him. So that's really it. I started this off by saying that crimes happened yesterday, and I really do mean it. It felt criminal what happened yesterday. But honestly, as a West Virginia fan, I am not surprised.
9 minutes and 11 seconds.
Well said.
Never
Explosive
forget.
commentary.
I'm going to let you guys give your feedback, and then I'd like to chime in because I think I'm going to be the oddball here.
I got one thing that I want to just touch on, and then I'll let everybody else go. My thing that I agree with.
Actually, hold on. Can I say one last thing?
Oh, you just got 9 minutes.
I will play devil's advocate with myself, and I will say that West Virginia certainly had opportunities to lock themselves into the tournament. We lost the game to Arizona State. We lost the game at home to Kansas State. We lost last week to Colorado in the first round, which was a terrible loss. So absolutely, we had our chances, but that doesn't take away from the entire season. So that's what I'll say there.
Recency bias.
I will agree with Cameron as that, West Virginia got screwed. The one thing I did like that he mentioned, and I do think that there is some weight, as funny as it is that, the governor of the state sits in front of a podium that has, National Corrupt Collegiate Athletic Association, whatever it was, in front of his podium was hilarious today. I do agree with his statement of that no active administrative people should be on these committees, because Cameron hit the nail right on the head. Because anybody in that room, Bubba Cunningham, I'm sure he wasn't in the room because they're not going to make it that blatant. But like everybody in that room knows who Bubba is, and Bubba knows everybody in that room. And athletics, as almost everything in life, it's all about who you know. And so everybody in that room is trying to do a favor to Bubba because Bubba's going to give him a favor right back at some point. So there was some crimes committed. I agree with that. I definitely think that people who are active members of an athletic department should not be on the selection committee whatsoever. We have enough analytics and we have enough people in the world of sports to form a competent committee to get a very good tournament field in. The only team I think I would disagree with, Cameron, on your flipping of the first four out to the first four in, I thought Xavier getting in was justified. That was the only one. I thought Xavier should have got in, and they did get in. You could take all the other three out, and you could put, West Virginia, Boise State, and Indiana in. So Indiana with soon to be no head coach in. So yeah, I did like your rant though. Very, very well done, Cameron.
Thank you.
I think when North Carolina became a bubble team, you gotta switch. You gotta make a change as to who the head of the committee is, or something to that effect, to where it's like, okay, we're too much riding on this. In most years, this isn't an issue. North Carolina is in, and they're a 3 seed or a whatever, and it's normally not a problem with that particular school. But this year it was a problem. They weren't good. They were not good. They did not deserve to be in. And yes, they made a run to the semifinals of the ACC. But now if they would have beaten Duke and made the champ game, all right, maybe we're talking a little bit. At least it's a better win, but they don't have any good wins. So they didn't deserve to be in. I don't even think it's as much about keeping West Virginia out as it is about putting North Carolina in. All 4 of those teams had an argument that were left out, but North Carolina did not deserve to make the tournament. They did not. They just did not deserve
Absolutely terrible year for the ACC.
Texas and Xavier had better arguments than North Carolina did. They did not deserve to be in, and I would have been fine with Boise. I would have been fine with Indiana. I would have been fine with Ohio State as well. I think any of those 4 I would have been okay with, but you can't put North Carolina in. And I think, look, we've all been in a college athletic setting. He was not in the meeting. He did not vote. I totally understand that. No one else in America cares about that. You're the head of the committee. You work at North Carolina. This looks bad. It looks so bad. You can't let that happen when this happens like this.
And their one quad 1 win is UCLA, they're a 7 seed, aren't they?
Yes.
They're a 7 seed.
UCLA, yeah, is a 7.
West Virginia beat Iowa State.
Who's
they
a
beat
3?
Kansas, who's a 3. They beat Kansas, who had a down-ish year, but still Kansas. And then
North Carolina didn't have any quad 1 wins against their own conference. And their conference only put
win the whole year.
And their conference only put 4 teams in.
Did they get 4?
Duke a 1 seed, Clemson a 5, and Louisville an 8.
8.
You want to talk about
win against any of them?
And UNC didn't have a single quad 1 win in conference.
It's not a good look. Gosh. It's not a good look.
Cass, you go.
As the resident UNC fan, I wore my shirt. Listen, no, I wore my shirt just to cause trouble. They were absolutely dog shit this year. Like, this is not a tournament team. I am very realistic when it comes to this stuff. Like, UNC is one of the best basketball programs in the history of the game, and they were not UNC this year. Like, Hubert Davis needs, like, he is struggling to find out, like, what his identity and what his North Carolina teams are going to look like. When they made it to the national championship, like, that was just a team that got hot, which can happen. You know, like when he took that team to the national championship, that was a team that got hot. But they have been inconsistent ever since Roy Williams stepped down. And again, like I get it. The world of college basketball is insane right now with the NIL and all the stuff and the transfer portal. Like, I'm not out here saying it's supposed to be easy. I'm not out here calling for Hubert Davis's job. I love that guy. He's a great guy. Keep him there. Let him figure it out. I hope they don't get to the point. But Bubba Cunningham, absolutely. I love what you said, Zach. He should not have been anywhere near that thing. Like, once you realize, like, you're talking, okay, is UNC going to get in? Are they not going to get in? Like, as soon as that became a question, he has to be like, hey, like, someone else take over.
They were a bubble team in, like, fucking January.
Exactly. It's not like this happened recently. And the only reason, I'll also say, the only reason they were a bubble team is because they were UNC.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. It was not because they did something great. They had a terrible stretch. They were playing better later in the season, but they still weren't winning games they needed to win.
I have a different conspiracy theory.
I love it. I want it. Give me all the conspiracies.
I have one too.
First rule, nobody named Bubba should ever be an athletic director of any kind. Second of all, we can all agree no sitting AD should sit on these committees. That's very flawed, no question. But I think he's getting all the attention. What nobody is looking at is who's got the broadcast rights this year to the Final Four.
Well, it's always Turner, CBS.
Okay.
CBS.
So how much of a factor does ESPN have on the committee?
Wouldn't think a lot.
My thought is that ESPN might be conspiring to get a 14th SEC team in, thus putting Texas in. And it's a big brand, and, you know, Rick Barnes, Chris Beard, Like they always have Shaka Smart. They always have coaches people are going to want to tune in for. So I could very easily see that being part of a network decision to put a school like Texas in instead.
If this was a big contract year for networks, I would agree with you, Jordan. But it's not. Those are kind of settled for a while.
That's true.
And so I understand where you're coming from because
I'm just trying to think a little differently here and take some heat off old Bubba.
March Madness is money. That's everything. That's the only reason it happens.
So it's an accident that the biggest brand in college sports got put in after finishing 14th in their own league.
Absolutely not. No, I'm not saying that. I was just saying I don't think it's a leading factor. Is it a factor? Possibly.
I'm going to let Cam go, and I'm going to give my other opinions on this.
While we're talking about this, I know I've thrown a lot of shade and heat towards UNC, but and look, I get it. The SEC is a great conference. Putting teams in who went 6-12,
not good
in their conference is insane.
Disgusting.
That didn't even happen when the Big 12 was as good as it was like 3-4 years ago. Like that's insane to me. Like
I think Oklahoma's a 9 seed is the biggest
win games.
mishap of the whole thing.
At some point, you have to win games. But here's my quick conspiracy theory, though. My conspiracy theory, and I talked a little bit about this at the beginning, how the West Virginia governor sued the NCAA last year. My conspiracy theory is pretty simple: is that this was punishment for that happening last year. Because I mean,
that doesn't sound very far out. Honestly,
they sued the shit out of the NCAA, and they had to make every single player who transferred immediately eligible. Like that was groundbreaking shit that happened last year, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they're like, oh, they're slightly on the bubble. Let's force them out of the tournament. That wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cameron. I think that at a certain point, teams do have to win games because, like Mississippi State, it was well known. It's like, hey, if you can get to 8 conference wins, Mississippi State's a lock because what they did in their non-conference schedule, which did not age well because they had a great win against Pitt. Pitt turned out to be terrible. Had a great road win against SMU. SMU turned out to be terrible. Had a good neutral site win against UNLV. UNLV wasn't any good. But going into conference play, everybody was like, if you can get 8 wins in the SEC, you're firmly in. We have a losing conference record, and we weren't even sweating the bubble at all. We were a firm lock since like late January. It was kind of ridiculous at that point. And so I do agree with you there that I do think that winning conference games matters regardless of how good your conference is or not, because you have to think to yourself, like, yeah, the conference is really good, but this team isn't winning a lot of games in their conference. So like that has to be weighed a little bit. Plus, too, one thing that I heard on CBS, I think it was CBS, yesterday during the selection show is that, North Carolina had gotten hot at the end and played really well towards the end of the stretch. Like, if that's what you're using,
they weren't playing anyone.
Exactly. If that's what you're using to get them in the tournament, then why do we start the season in November? It's the same thing with the people who cried that they didn't get in the college football playoff. It was like, well, we finished the year strong, like South Carolina. We finished the year strong. We had great wins over Clemson and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, but the games you played back in August and September mattered. Every game matters. As soon as the ball is tipped, it matters. So, I mean, that is not a justification for putting UNC in.
Can I go down this road now? You guys can shit all over it in a minute if you want to.
Do it.
And I know Cameron's probably going to, but man, there's 68 teams. Somebody's going to be 69 or 70 and feel like they got snubbed. But when you start doing the one whining moment, we're going to go sue the NCAA because we didn't get in. This is so Florida State, man. This is Central Florida hanging a national championship banner. Like these are marketing ploys to say, look how we take care of our own. And it's not going to change anything. And I'm not denying that there was absolutely some snubs and probably some politics in play, whether it be networks, actual politicians, whatever it might be. It's such a bad look to me. And I'm here to tell you, I think West Virginia's got a better resume than Texas, and that's my team. These things never go well. It's bad pub, and it in the scheme of it, it doesn't change anything. Like, I respect that he's taken up for his guys and all the things, but you could literally make this argument with every sport every year. Somebody should have got in that didn't. And I just feel like we're to the point now where it's, and yes, the system is 1,000,000% flawed. You cannot have sitting ADs on there. But like college football forever had Condoleezza Rice deciding who was making what games. Like, is that a better system? I don't know. It just feels icky because of the North Carolina AD and the position. He's not just a member of the committee; he's the head of the committee. So it does feel icky. But I just hate we're going to lawyer up because we feel like we got the short end of the stick. And the fact that none of you guys popped at one whining moment, that's a great pun, by the way.
I will say this,
though. Phenomenal pun.
Jordan, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong.
I know good pun.
I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think the reason of the lawsuit this time is to actually beat the NCAA. I think it's to hopefully get some change in the committee stuff that we were talking about. I think though that I think where all the outrage is coming from though is just the fact that yes, there's always going to be one team left out or 2 or 3 teams left out that think they should be in. But I think this time around it was so egregious, so visibly egregious to the national, audience that people were like, what is going on? Like, how did they let this happen? That's,
and I admittedly,
it's one thing for, a team or two every year to think, man, like we should have got in. I think we should have got in. But
at the same time, if you'd have beat Colorado, like we're talking about North Carolina didn't play anybody down the stretch, but you lost to Colorado, like,
and
win that game, you're in.
And look, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. West Virginia felt like they were a lock 2 wins ago.
Yes, and probably should have been.
At what point do you need to just say, okay, their resume speaks for itself? Now, as a West Virginia fan, I'll tell you straight up, we didn't look like a tournament team down the stretch, partly because we don't have a lot of depth and because we have sort of limped throughout the schedule, but we've grinded some tough wins, and we've had some tough losses along the way, but our resume speaks for itself.
And you have to view the Big 4 conference tournaments differently. They don't matter. They don't matter.
No, they do not matter.
The other ones matter. These don't. They don't. The SEC got 14 fucking teams in. Your tournament doesn't mean shit.
Which is
Auburn's the overall number 1. They didn't win the SEC tournament. Your tournament doesn't matter. So West Virginia losing to Colorado shouldn't have affected them one bit. North Carolina's
I would argue that it did, though.
North Carolina's, I said shouldn't have. North Carolina's only way to the tournament should have been to be the automatic qualifier. That should have been
NC State last year.
Yeah. The only way they made the NCAA tournament. But the reason they made it is because they're North Carolina.
What I know the conference championships don't matter because Michigan wins the Big Ten, ends up not improving their seed at all because they were projected.
They're still a 5.
Yeah, they're still a 5. They were projected a 5. They beat Wisconsin, who's a 3, and then they stayed at the 5 line. So like
Iowa State lost 2 starters, so still a 3 seed.
Yep. The Power 4 conference championships do not matter unless, like Cameron mentioned, it's an NC State that's like the 12 seed in that tournament, and they're nowhere even near the bubble, and they just go on a magical run and win. That's the only reason they matter.
Iowa would have won the Big Ten tournament this year.
What I know for sure is that America's rooting for San Diego State against North Carolina.
And they should keep rooting for them.
Here's the thing that's funny. John Rothstein was talking about this this morning in the CBS show. phenomenal Twitter presence and phenomenal basketball mind. But he was talking about this morning. He was echoing a lot of the same things that we were saying. UNC does not deserve to be in whatsoever. He was making a case for West Virginia. He was making a case for Indiana. But then he followed that up with, and I completely agree with this 1,000%. He said, my feeling that UNC does not belong in the tournament is not indicative of how I think that they can play, how I think they can perform in the tournament. Because just like UCLA showed us a few years ago, they could go in and win 4 or 5 straight games like that. Like there is talent on that roster. They haven't played as a team this year. They haven't won any of those big games yet, but obviously they have the talent. You can just look at who they have. Like they could come together.
The Sweet 16's there for the taking for them because the winner of their play-in game plays Ole Miss, who is gettable as a 6 seed, and then your 3 seed's Iowa State, who's completely unhealthy, and they got to get through Lipscomb.
Ole Miss is going to choke.
If Lipscomb pulls the upset,
while we're talking about injuries, why the hell is Iowa State a 3 seed
and
West Virginia West Virginia not in the tournament? If player availability is something that matters to Bubba Cunningham, then Iowa State should not be on the 3 line.
Correct. Nope, could not agree with you more on that.
Are there other things on the agenda, or is it just Cameron's rants of anger?
No, we're good. I just wanted to get Cameron's make sure his voice was heard. I want to shout out Herod real quick. I think it's the first time Herod has actually said something that me and him truly agree upon, as Ole Miss is overrated as hell. The Rebels are a 6 seed. Chris Beard, you stink. You stink. I don't like you. Mississippi State swept that series. I don't care we're an 8 seed.
Never forget where his first ever head coaching job came, by the way.
Arkansas Little Rock.
And then?
Texas Tech.
Might have been before he got to Little Rock, actually. He was an Angelo State Ram.
Was he? Didn't know that.
Go Rams.
Hold on. I'll end with this, Hunter. Completely different story going on now. Head coach for West Virginia, Darren DeVries, hot name in the Iowa circles after getting rid of Fran McCaffrey. I think Iowa's gonna. I don't think DeVries is gonna leave. The rumors are out there on Twitter, but I just don't think you can believe everything that's on Twitter. I think
if it was anywhere, if it was for any other place other than his home state, I would say probably not. I still think it's unlikely. I would lean towards him staying at West Virginia.
I would too, and obviously I'm a homer, but and these things kind of make me nervous sometimes. But I don't think he would. I think he would consider it if he had a little bit of a better year.
Like if he had made the tournament?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That's no dig at all. That's right.
There's a real chance because let's say they would have made the tournament and they win a game or two, Iowa may hire somebody before he's available. Well,
that's true. I think the most likely option for Iowa is Ben McCollum over at Drake.
And that's the same situation.
Did West Virginia get into the NIT? Are they just about to run roughshod?
No,
they Cam, I was going to say this, Cam. I don't really care about the whole lawsuit stuff. I'm kind of I don't really understand. That's not really my thing. I didn't even know they did that. I respect the hell out of saying screw the NIT. If you're not going to let us play in the real thing, I don't care about anything else.
Cam and I had that conversation earlier. Those tournaments are.
I'm sure the players had some similar feelings. We also had a starter enter the portal today, so that also plays into that a little bit now. Now these days, some things that used to not be a factor. The last time that something like this happened to West Virginia was when we were in the Big East in 2000, and Hunter's going to punch me because this is the year that West Virginia beat Mississippi State in the NIT. But West Virginia in 2007 went like 22-8 or 22-9 in the old Big East, and somehow didn't make the tournament that year either. And we did play in the NIT, and we fucking killed everyone. And
Hey, that was a good era to be a WVU fan, huh? No,
that was
they're good at football. Good at men's.
It was a good era, but there was a pretty big war that happened that year, and it didn't cut the basketball season short, but it did later that year cut the football season short. And West Virginia just didn't get a chance to play for the national championship that year. But we'll get back.
I love that. Did they sue that year? I love that we have two types of college basketball fans on this podcast. We have Cameron, who has vivid memories of his team in the NIT. And we have me, who has literally watched 0 minutes of college basketball in probably 3 years.
Oh, speaking of the NIT appearance for West Virginia that year, if you get a chance to look this up, you can do a quick Google search right now. Google West Virginia NIT champs 2007 and look at the images, and you'll find like a bunch of our players celebrating. They misspelled West Virginia on the championship shirts. They forgot the last I, so it just says West Virginia.
Nice.
West Vagina?
Close.
Worst Virginia?
I just wanted to say vagina on the pod.
I did. I found a way. My wife would be proud of me.
Well,
we have a built-in segue on where the hell we go from here.
No, I have a segue. Cameron, again, well done. West Virginia got screwed. Well, West Virginia got screwed, but let's segue into teams that actually did make the tournament, and let's give a great breakdown and analysis of just a quick recap and your thoughts on your team based off of the minutes you've seen this season and what you really feel like your team is going to do in March. And I feel like we got to start off with our resident basketball knowledge knower. That's a terrible pun. That was awful. We're just going to go with as bad as this intro has been. The analysis is going to be worse.
That wasn't a pun, Herod, was it?
No, it wasn't. As bad.
The more words that come out, the worse this gets.
I know. I'm trying to kill time.
So knowledge don't come with us.
Knowledge knower.
We're at an hour already.
Knowledge knower is
I'm trying to stall.
Alliteration.
I'm trying to stall for Herod because I know he knows nothing about the Texas Longhorns. But Herod,
this will be quick and easy, dude.
What do you think about Texas?
Our last podcast that didn't exist, that existed and then didn't.
It might have.
I said Texas is terrible. I don't think they're a tournament team. They're 14th in their own league. Then they got into the tournament, and I told you if they got in, I'm picking them to win it all. So go check my bracket challenge. It's got the horns. It's got the horns going all the way. Rodney Terry in March is an animal, man.
The podcast that doesn't exist, you said I wouldn't be surprised if they fire him tomorrow.
I know. We said all of this last year. There's no way they're going to make him the head coach permanently, and then they went on their run in March. No, realistically, they even that first game against Xavier, I think, is even a tough matchup for them. I don't think they're going very far.
Knowledge knower. That's a bad one on me. Landon, Texas Tech. They draw UMC Wilmington in the first round. Yeah, how far are we going?
The optimist in me says we're going to win a national championship.
Let's go.
Realist in me says a solid Elite Eight showing, possibly a Final Four. I do think both of those are possible. I would love for us to make national championship because in San Antonio, and I'm supposed to be in San Antonio for training for a week that same week. So I'm obviously going to go and maybe expense it to the bank.
Can't be any worse than going to Minneapolis one year for the Final Four.
That I had to fly into Iowa for, by the way.
Yeah, let's go.
Great soil up there. Very black, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry. Random side note.
I think me saying knowledge knower was better than what you just said about soil.
No, it's
black soil.
It's like crazy. It's like actually nuts, isn't it? Like
well, it's not clay. It's not Clay. Yeah.
When we do our offshoot podcast about farming, you two can lead that.
Got you.
Landon probably knows more than I do.
You should introduce someone as farmer of farming.
Zach,
Come on.
Definitely knows more than you probably. I was an ag major at one point, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Spell ag.
EGG.
I think there's a silent. There's definitely a silent Q in there somewhere.
EGG.
No, I like
right.
Texas Tech Elite Eight. I think that's fine. Cass, I'm gonna go before we let you talk about the team that everybody hates right now. State 8 seed. They drew Baylor. Baylor shoots 35% from beyond the arc. Mississippi State is plus 300 in defending the 3-ball. That's not very good. Baylor has a great freshman, VJ Edgecombe. Great name. Actually had Mississippi State. I think he visited Mississippi State, actually. He chose Baylor over us, so got to get some revenge for that there. Mississippi State, 17-4 when we out-rebound our opponent. If we don't do that, then that's not good. I know we're not going to defend the 3. So keys of the game, Stars have a big one. Hubbard and Cam Matthews got to go off. Out-rebound Baylor. Pray to God Baylor hits less than 12 threes, and we got a chance.
Since you're playing Baylor, I feel the need to throw this out there. How does Mississippi State out-rebound Baylor?
So when the ball hits off the rim and you grab it with 2 hands and bring it down.
Hey, legends are made in March.
That is considered a rebound. You know that this today, as we are recording, is like the 6th or 7th anniversary of that. However many years it's the anniversary of that.
Atari and Prince.
I love whenever media trained players just are like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, go look up some of the things that Bruce Pearl said this week. I'm sure his media relations people were not having a good time.
I don't know. I really do hope, though, that Mississippi State wins. It'll be our first tournament win since 2008. If we do win, we will see Duke, barring a miracle. And if we do see Duke, we will get murdered. So, round of 32 is our ceiling, and that's what I'm hoping for. All right, Cass. Everybody's mad about North Carolina. Are they actually going to win?
I hope she picks North Carolina to win it all, just to spite Cameron.
I might.
Or
I might throw one out there.
They just don't even win a game.
Truly. I actually think the San Diego State matchup might be okay for them. I could see them winning that. I really think it depends on if they can shoot from outside. If they can hit some threes, they can keep themselves in the game. And that, I think that's really the key for them. But I think what Zach pointed out earlier, saying like, if they win that San Diego State game, there's a real chance that they could push through, because like you said, Ole Miss is not the strongest 6 seed. And then again, Iowa State's hurt. Lipscomb had a phenomenal season. So then you could see them maybe facing, if they beat Ole Miss, either facing an injured Iowa State or a 14 seed. Like they were gifted what they have in front of them. Gifted. And I mean, we saw them do it. I mean, obviously not as an 11 seed, but we saw them do it a couple years ago. They got hot in the tournament and ran all the way to the Natty. I don't think they have that in them this year. I just don't think it's a team built for that. But if they get hot, I could see them making it to the second weekend. But I don't know. As a UNC fan, obviously I want to see him beat San Diego State. After that, like, I don't really care what happens. Again, I'm not going to be on here and say, oh, they deserved it. No.
I love that San Diego State and North Carolina are in the same regional.
Yeah, sure.
Nobody
North Carolina did have travel issues, though. They
So did
I
A&M.
don't know.
A&M had travel issues as well. Their plane
Yeah.
was leaking gas.
Yeah, something was wrong with the
that-
plane.
That's not a thing. Georgia
Something
had travel
was
issues all football season.
true. But yeah. Also, quick tidbit. Jordan mentioned Bruce Pearl. I have a wonderful Bruce Pearl story. In 2019, Auburn was in the San Diego regional. I went to that because both Marshall and WVU were in that regional. Both won their first round matchups, and then WVU destroyed Marshall. But it was a lovely little slice of home for me.
Cass, do you
to
remember
watch
when,
that.
Do you remember when now U.S. Senator what's his face Jim
What?
Justice showed up to that West Virginia Marshall game with a half green, half blue sport coat.
That's I don't remember it, but that's the most Jim Justice thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Was he still walking then, or did he have a scooter?
He was
Stand-up
walking,
guy.
and what's his dog's name? The big bulldog.
Spot.
Shit.
Oh,
No, it's
Leo.
like
something dumb.
it's baby dog. It's baby dog.
That's not a good name.
We have
Baby
gone
dog.
on so many sidebars.
We have gone on so many
I know
sidebars.
we're so deep, but real quick, obviously all the teams have to find a place to practice during their weekend. Auburn came to Point Loma Nazarene University, shout out, and our men's basketball head coach, who now coaches Idaho State, Ryan Looney, was like, "Oh, this will be a great opportunity. I'll bring my kids in. They can see like a big time team practice." He had to dip out of there with that like 10 and 8-year-old real quick.
I'm sure
Just from, we couldn't even have the window open to our
Not the
office. Just
NCAA
the amount of
tournament.
expletives. Just so many. And we were like, well,
Hunter,
thank
do
you,
you know what
Bruce
an
Pearl.
expletive is?
Yep,
They were your daughter's first words.
probably so. So there you go. Texas, Texas Tech, Mississippi State, North Carolina, the teams of this podcast that are in. And obviously, Emily's not with us tonight, but me and Emily are in a showdown, and she is a huge Baylor Bear fan. So at least one of us will at least advance to the round of 32 in that matchup. But let's end this.
I think it's funny how West Virginia was such a lock that we talked about them last week or 2 weeks ago now on the podcast as West Virginia being a lock in the tournament. And you asked me the same question of what do we think about our team's chances in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, we did that the last episode. That was so bad from an audio standpoint, we had to pull it from Spotify. So it no longer exists. But yes, we did ask that. So let's do a quick draft, and then we'll hang a banner and we'll get out of here. So we're going to rapid fire this. So it's going to be our March Madness Survivor pool. Harriet, I want you to write down the draft picks for me. I have a draft order already randomized and ready to go. Here are the rules, okay? You can draft any team.
Let me guess. UNC girl goes first.
No. You can draft any team in any order, but you must draft one team that is a 5 through 7 seed, one team that is an 8 through 10 seed, one team that is an 11 through 13, and one team that is a 14 through 16. You can pick your team at any time, at any seed line, but once you pick a 5 through 7, you can't pick that seed again. So you move on to the next one, okay? Does everybody, and then whoever has a team that makes it the longest will be the winner. Okay, so if you go 0 for 4 in the first weekend, then sucks to suck. You're out. But if you have somebody make it all the way to the national championship at some point, something's going to give. We will come up with a tiebreaker if we need to. Jordan, you're raising your hand.
Are we snake draft or regular draft?
We are going to, I think for this one, I think it's only fair. I feel like this is a regular draft kind of deal, maybe.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I think so.
Regular draft.
All right, lay an order on me.
I have the order. Are we ready? Regular draft. Here's the order for all 6 of us here. I have Zach at the 1, Landon at the 2, Cass at the 3, Cameron at the 4. That's
Rigged.
just randomizer poetic justice. Jordan at the 5, and
So
then
rigged.
dead last, me. Brutal.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. Rapid fire pick. Zach, you're up. You can draft anybody that's a 5 through 16, but obviously, 5 through 7, an 8 through a 10, 11 through a 13, and a 14 through a 16. Lay it on us.
Oh, man. All right, I will start with my 5 through 7.
Okay.
And I'll go with the Big Ten tournament champion, Michigan Wolverines.
Okay. I like it. Landon.
Gonzaga.
Taking them off the 8 line. I would have laughed if Landon's like, I'm going to hedge a bet here, UNC Wilmington.
Thought about it.
Gonzaga's an 8. Is that right?
Gonzaga is an 8.
Okay. Cass?
I'm gonna hit the 11 through 13, and I'm gonna take out of the Southland, McNeese.
It's a really good pick there. I like it.
Will Wade hates children.
He also hates you.
He has a fire equipment manager, though.
Amir Khan.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay. Sorry. To Cameron.
Give me Oregon.
For 5 seed Oregon, right?
Yes.
All right. Let me see. Let me look at my big board here. I really like that McNeese pick there, Cass.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's not a lot that I love in that 14 to 16 bracket, so I'm going to go T is for Troy because basketball.
I'm going
You
to
going
post that
Troy?
if they win.
T is for Troy. Okay.
Some of you will
As
get
in
there.
Troy? Listen, know your memes, people.
That's probably like way after Cass's time, but Cameron and Landon are right on time there.
To me?
Yeah.
All right. To end the first round, I'm going to follow Cassie here and go that 12 line. I'm going to take their first ever appearance, UC San Diego. They are generating a ton of buzz. They play really good basketball. The Tritons. San Diego. UC San Diego.
I like that pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pick. Good pick.
So we are guaranteed to have somebody in the round of 32 between me and Zach because they match up against each other.
All right. Zach, your second pick. You have a 5 seed off the board.
Yeah, I need y'all to know that the 8 through 10s is brutal.
Yep, sure is.
It's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do things like that. Oh man. Go Bulldogs. Give me Drake as an 11.
Drake? Okay.
One half of the show, Drake and Josh.
Oh, great poll.
I noticed that Drake got in and Lamar didn't, so I guess he won the beef.
That's what I was going to say. If only Lamar was in, I would take them.
All right. Landon, it's to you.
All right.
Wait, did we not snake this?
No, we
No,
did a
we're
regular
not
draft.
taking this.
That's kind of dumb.
Way to pay attention. St. Mary's.
St. Mary's is a
You can't do that.
16.
Oh, no, yeah, he can. He can. My bad.
Dick.
Hey, you let me keep up with that guy.
Yeah.
St. Mary's is a 7.
Wait, did you pick St. Mary's or Mount St. Mary's?
St. Mary's, not Mount St. Mary's.
All right.
St. Mary's is a 7.
St. Mary's is a 7. Cass, that's to you. You've got a 12 seed off the board.
I do believe. God, yeah, that 8 to 10 is hard, man.
Yeah. Because who wants an 8 or 9 when they have to play a 1?
8, right? I just, ugh. I'm gonna do Arkansas.
I love that
The
pick.
10.
I love
Yeah.
that pick.
I don't know how I feel about him against Kansas, but if they
They're
do,
going to beat the pants off Kansas.
St. John's is so good.
yeah,
See, I
St.
don't
John's is
know.
really
I
good.
don't know about Arkansas. They're getting Boogie Flan back, but they did not play well with him in the lineup, and they only play 7 guys. So like,
Is Musselman still there?
no, it's Calipari.
It's
dude.
Calipari.
Oh, it's Calipari now. Well, I got to go back and fix my bracket.
That little section there, just real quick, that bottom section, you've got Calipari against Self for the right to play Patino.
Yeah.
Patino.
Good Lord.
Where's that region at? Where are they hosting?
Providence,
Oh,
Rhode
oh,
Island.
Oh, geez.
And also McNeese will be there. McNeese is in the same one. I forgot about that.
Wow.
Oh, I'm heavy in Providence.
real quick. I don't know if y'all saw the video, but they posted to Twitter today. So Calipari's talking to the team, and he's like, "Yeah, so we're going to fly up there to Providence on Tuesday." And Big Z, their tall center's like, "Where's
They saw
that
that.
at?" And he looks at him. He goes, "The United States."
Somewhere in the United States.
It was incredible.
He's very European. All right, Cam, it's to you. You've also got a 5 seed off the board.
Yeah. Well, since it seems like we're taking 8 through 10s, I need to go ahead and get mine. New Mexico.
New Mexico also.
That's a good pick.
I like
That's
that
a good pick.
Cameron. All
That was-
right.
Here's
that was my 10.
here's what I know about basketball. How do you score? How do you win the game? You score a higher amount of points. I'm going to take 13 seed High Point.
In their first ever.
I like
NCAA
them. I
tournament.
like them.
That's
a lot.
that's a really good pick though too.
I'll trade it.
That's
to
why
you.
I picked
Oh,
McNeese
put
because
Purdue on
I
upset
really
alert,
think
folks.
both of them could win.
I really like your McNeese Arkansas combo. Pretty solid.
High Point absolutely can beat Purdue, by the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I know you score higher points than the other team and you win, so that's why I'm taking them.
So, carry the
So
one. Yeah.
I think
Hunter, it's to you.
I'm going to go to the 5-7 route.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm torn because I could see either one of these teams making a run. I could honestly see like both of them making a run, but I'm going to go with my gut here
Okay.
because I've seen Memphis lose. I haven't really watched a lot of BYU, but I know they're a good team. I know they can fill it up. Give me the Mormons. I'll take BYU at my
Dude, they're red hot right now.
Yeah, I'll take BYU.
Yeah.
They're a really good basketball team.
Zach, it's to you. Your 5 is gone. Your 11 is gone.
I've half-heartedly been listening to what everybody else has been picking. So,
Okay. Well, if you draft someone that's
if
already
I
been
say
picked, I'll skip it.
somebody that's already been taken, just I don't have I'm not a knowledge knower.
Yeah, most of us aren't. It's a tough gig.
Yeah.
That one's going to live on forever, isn't it?
Is Creighton still on the board?
The Jayhawks. The Blue Jays. What are they?
They are
Blue
the Blue
Jays.
Blue Jays.
They are very much still on the board.
I think I'm gonna roll with Creighton.
The Creighton Blue Jays.
I'm a little.
all they
I
got.
don't personally think Auburn should have been the overall one. I would have had Florida or Duke as the overall one. So
Noted award-winning author Michael Creighton.
Bad.
Spelled the
Landon,
same
it's
way?
your pick, buddy. It is not spelled the same way.
There you go.
I mean, it's Michael Creighton. So sorry.
I'll go Drake.
They're gone.
No,
Already
you
gone.
can't.
They're gone.
I will
7
not
picks ago.
go Drake.
You don't go Lamar?
I will not.
Lamar.
Let's see here.
You can pick Degrassi Drake.
Please hold.
Aubrey Graham.
You know, just because I'm a hater, give me Xavier.
Xavier.
Ew.
Xavier is an 11 seed. Logically, you picked them because they're playing Texas.
I was really hoping he would pick another team that had already been.
I mean, we know I'm not paying attention. So
Cass, the draft board is to you.
I am gonna go 7 seed Marquette.
Ooh.
Shaka.
That's a tough matchup with New Mexico, but but I like what they did this year.
Cam, you have a 5 and a 10 gun.
Yeah, I'm still looking here. Give me like 10 seconds.
Is this like your 5-minute rant?
No, don't worry.
Got him.
Don't sue me.
West Virginia basketball. Cameron's down. If you hear this podcast, we know you won't. Send him a care package. Send him like a T-shirt or something that says like, "I hate the NCAA." That'd be great.
Yeah, a stripper.
Give me.
You guys won't join the NAIA?
Give me Colorado State.
Colorado State is a
12 seed.
where are they? 12 seed.
I know there's got to be at least 112 to win, right?
We've got
Not
3 of them
necessarily.
picked, don't we?
We have UCSD and Colorado State are the only 2 12. Oh, and McNeese. 3 12s.
Wait, who had Drake? I thought Cameron had Drake.
Zach took Drake.
Oh,
Zach took Drake.
Okay, that's why I was
Oh,
confused.
piss, that's to me.
Des Moines' hometown team.
What do I have gone? I have a 13 to 14 gone. So I need a 5 through 10 somewhere in there. Ooh.
Well, a 5 through 7 and then an 8 through 10.
Yeah.
8 through 10's the hardest one, I think.
Who's Mizzou got in the first round?
They have Drake.
Drake.
All right. Well,
I mean, at some point we're going to be playing each other in this, so.
yeah. I don't love any of those 5 seeds, man. At least the ones that are still available. And BYU was kind of my pick.
Good ball club.
Yeah, they're rolling pretty good right now. Louisville's got Creighton, is that right? Man, don't love that. All right, I guess.
Wait, how are we scoring this BS? Like,
hold on, we'll get to that. I regretfully am going to take.
because like if a team wins a play-in game, do they get a point for that, or like?
I think it's once
It's
you get
just
onto the
whoever
bracket of
gets
64.
It's just whoever gets the furthest, right?
Yeah.
Or are we doing a point system?
No point system. It's a straight survivor pool. So like you just have to survive in advance. So whoever
What if
lasts
2 of
the longest-
them get to the same round?
Then at a certain point, if we have to go to a tiebreaker, we'll just do total points of the national championship game or something to break a tie. We'll find a way to break a tie.
Or however many of your teams made it the furthest.
All right.
Yeah, that works.
I regretfully threw up in my mouth a little bit and took UConn, so Hunter, that makes it to you.
Hey, back-to-back national champs.
Yeah, and a freaking 8 seed.
Yeah, tough.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take. I'm going to go from the 14 to 16 range.
Okay. You won't do it.
Really want to take Omaha
Omaha.
because they're a great story because they beat up trash cans.
Are you taking Omaha?
No, I think I'm going to go Lipscomb at the 14 against Iowa State.
Did you say Lipscomb?
Lipscomb?
Lipscomb.
Lip.
And they are the Bisons. It's plural, even though Bisons is not a word, because the plural of bison is bison.
Who else is the Bisons? Isn't that Harding?
Well, Harding is bison. They're both COC schools.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, wait, okay, no, then it's backwards. Okay, then Harding is Bisons. Whichever one is Bisons is wrong.
They were both Bisons.
I just want Lipscomb. I don't care what their mascot is. I know it.
All right, Hunter, I've got you down for Lipscomb.
Yep, sure.
God damn it.
Zach, it is back to you.
Well,
Tim-
shit. That
Tim
was my
Lipscomb.
pick. So.
Zach, you've got
That was also going to be my pick. Shit.
Zach, you've got a 5, a 9,
Damn.
and an 11.
I literally
I need the bottom 3 seeds here.
Yeah, and there ain't a
who's
whole
all
lot left. in that
available on the 14 seed line. Anybody left?
group. UNC Wilmington and Montana are both available.
Oh, gross.
Yep.
Someone picked Troy already?
Yeah, I took them. T for Troy, first pick, baby.
Yeah, good pick.
I don't like who those 2 teams have to play. I think Wisconsin and Texas Tech can go far.
Yeah, nobody likes them. That's why they're 14 seed.
Well, there's that.
You know what's worse than being a 14 seed? Being West Virginia. Sorry, Cam. It's just too much fun. When Texas loses by 45 in the CFP next year, you can let me have it back. It'll be fine.
You know what? Robert Morris.
Robert Morris. The
That's
popcorn
just one
kernel.
guy. You have to pick a team.
Yeah. He's the best player on their team.
Robert Morris is a 15 seed. Our first 15 seed has gone off the board.
Let's roll. Come on.
I have to make one. I have to say one quick story. One quick story. A great Twitter account, Drunk Aubie. He's a great Auburn burner account. He tweeted today that he felt like it was unfair that Alabama just has to play one guy in their first round matchup of Robert Morris. I commented underneath it and said, "What happens if Robert Morris fouls out of the game?" And then he commented back under and said, "A worse Robert Morris enters the game."
Yeah.
There you
go. Who's got the pick here?
Landon.
I don't know why we're giving you a pick knowing 19 of them are off the board and you have not paid attention.
That is accurate.
We could be here a while.
Please draft Drake for a second time.
I need a 14 to 16, right?
Landon has an 8, a 7, and an 11. Yes. 14 to 16, and good luck, because that's a steaming pile of dung.
I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you won't take the American Eagles?
No.
Isn't that the team that Lamar football beat by like 1 million points?
That's what I was trying to figure out earlier.
We got North American.
That's North American.
Yeah, that was like the whole continent.
Yeah.
All right. Seems a little unfair.
I don't think they're going to win, but just give me Montana.
All right. Landon.
I mean,
I hope it's 16 wins. That'd be so awesome.
Landon and I are all on the Disney train. I went T for Troy, and he is going number 14, Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana.
And we both got the worst of both worlds. All right, let's move on.
Let's go.
Cass,
Cam's
the pick
gonna
is
sing
to
that
you.
one next.
You get the
Okay.
Cass, you need a
14 to 16.
14
I
to
know.
16. Oh, it's not getting
Yep.
better. Oh my gosh.
Nope, not getting better.
Somebody take
I
Alabama
should have
State.
taken Lipscomb earlier. Actually, I was thinking about taking St. Francis.
You won't.
Yeah, it turns out leaving 14 to 16 to the end sucks.
Yeah, that's why
that was a terrible decision.
Cass
I'm gonna
went
take
12 seed in the first round. I thought everybody was going to follow suit, so I panicked and took Troy.
I'm gonna take UNC Wilmington, right?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, they're the only 14 left, and they've been very good the last couple years.
They're the Seahawks, is that right?
Yes, yeah. Seahawks.
And they look more like the Delaware Blue Hens. Isn't their logo like eerily similar to Delaware's?
Is Seahawks one word or two?
One, I believe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't
I
ask
can't.
me a spelling question.
Yeah, it's one in the spreadsheet.
Compound word.
Compound word. Cameron, your pick. 5, 10, and 12 gun.
Give me Bryant.
Chris Bryant. Also the Bulldogs, right?
Such a promising, could have been Hall of Famer, Chris Bryant.
And then he went to Colorado.
And then he played for the Rockies.
All right. What do I still need?
Hey,
I need a
the
5 to
Rockies are gonna
7,
win.
right?
Landon's hypothetical 2024 National League West champion, Colorado Rockies.
And
All right. You guys have left me no choice. I'm going to take, just to piss off Hunter, 6 seed, Ole Miss.
Man, if they're in the Elite Eight.
It's so going to happen now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, but my gosh, of the teams left that I can choose from, they might be the best one.
Look, Ole Miss, I don't know when their last tournament appearance was. It was under Kermit Davis, but they'll do this shit. They'll go to the Sweet 16. State's been to 3 straight tournaments, hadn't won a game. They'll probably lose to Baylor, and Ole Miss will go to the Sweet 16, and they'll be like, we're the basketball school. No, you're not.
Congratulations on being little brother in a state with 2 relevant schools. You have a 12-6-14 in the last pick in this.
And I'm going to round it out by just...
You're lucky Southern Miss isn't sneaking up on you, too.
No, don't even get me started about the
Mississippi Valley State.
No.
Alcorn.
Keep going.
The Delta
Uh,
Devils won the game. The Delta
are there other
Devils.
Division
Jackson
One schools?
State. You're
Jackson
missing
State.
Jackson State.
Are there other non-HBCU Division Ones in that state?
No, there's only 3.
Okay. Are there other HBCUs that I missed?
No, you
Valley, Alcorn, Jackson.
got them all.
Have you guys seen that fake MVSU Delta Devils basketball account?
It's
That thing
incredible.
is
It is so
it's
good.
so good.
Hunter, you've got a 12, 6, and 14 gone.
I need that dreaded 8 to 10 line.
You
And
won't take Oklahoma.
I will not take Oklahoma, but I will stay within the SEC. Fuck, we're here. We might as well back the dogs. Give me Mississippi State.
I saw that coming.
There it is.
How fitting that Mississippi State is the last pick of the draft.
You know, I thought someone was going to bite on UConn.
I did.
Jordan did.
I did in the third
Oh.
round.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wasn't paying attention, so.
I got the 2-time defending champs with the 17th overall pick, and then I got Chris Beard's team in the final round.
On that women's side, though, UConn absolutely could win that whole thing.
Nah, I'm picking Iowa.
Hold on.
Caitlin Clark's a beast.
Speaking of the women's side, did you see where they put West Virginia? In the Chapel Hill region.
Are no kidding. And I see my Hawkeyes are playing in Cameron Indoor.
Is Texas
No, they're
in the
not.
women's thing?
They're not?
They're pretty good, right?
Aren't they in Duke's region? No, are they not?
No, Duke has we're hosting Lehigh and then Oregon and Vanderbilt.
Is Texas in on the women's side? They're pretty good.
They're a 1 seed.
They're literally like the best team in the country, dude.
I do normally fill out.
You do not watch basketball at all.
I admitted that. I do normally fill out a women's bracket as well. Just
Chalk.
Damn it, we got to go to Norman.
Chalk.
and it's chalk the whole way. So it's good to know that I can take Texas this year.
Good.
All right. Do we
They
want
could win.
to real
West
quick
Virginia-
recap of draft picks?
West Virginia on the women's side was 12th in the rankings and got a 6th seed somehow.
Shit, Iowa could get out of they could get to the Sweet 16 in the women's side.
Who they
I
got?
kind of thought they'd be one and done.
Good.
Let's go. Hang a banner.
Herod, why don't you recap our picks
All
there
right.
for the
I'll do
survivor
that.
pool, and then we'll hang a banner and get out of here.
All right. Zach took Michigan, Drake, Creighton, and Robert Morris. Landon took Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Xavier, and Montana. Landon is going to lose because he has by
Wait,
far
hold
the
on.
widest. He has the widest team of anybody here.
So many
My
white
God.
people on those teams. Oh my god.
Gracious.
Hold on, wait a minute. We're letting Zach off the hook here. Zach had Drake and Robert Morris back. to
Yeah,
back.
but Landon has Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Xavier, and Montana.
Hunter,
That's
I
a sour
appreciate
cream
you.
fest.
Hunter, I appreciate you trying to stick up for me, but
Okay.
That's a sour cream fest.
All right.
So many
Cass
exciting whites.
got McNeese, Arkansas, Marquette, and Wilmington. Pretty good overall group there. Cameron took
Good mix.
Oregon, New Mexico,
Good mix.
Colorado State, and Bryant. I got T is for Troy, High Point, UConn, and Ole Miss. And Hunter took UCSD, BYU, Lipscomb, and Mississippi State.
Tim Lipscomb.
I like it. So
Let's hit
whoever makes it the furthest with your teams will win. Tiebreaker, whoever had the most teams advance.
I
We'll do
would
that.
also like to point out that the only 14 to 16. So I took a 14 seed with the 5th overall pick. The next 14 to 16 came off the board with the 18th overall pick.
Nice. Good panic.
Roy,
very
if
good
you're listening,
panic
I'm
pick.
really counting on it.
So,
It's like when someone takes a kicker in your fantasy draft in their third round to piss
It was the
people off.
second round, and he
So
got paid
then
$1
all
to
the
do it.
kickers get taken.
And it was Harrison Butker.
we will do a graphic on social media, and we'll keep up with that throughout the tournament to see if any of these teams actually go on a run. But let's go ahead. Cameron's already hung a banner tonight.
No,
Oh,
Hold on.
Jesus.
Goodness gracious. We're going to have a 4-hour
will-
pod.
no, this is a quick one. I will hang an actual banner tonight. Hang the banner, West Virginia Rifle, program and national record, 20th national championship that they claimed in Lexington, Kentucky this past weekend. Hang the banner, West Virginia rifle team, national champions once again.
Did you say 20th overall or 20th straight?
20th overall.
Okay. Jesus.
Zach, hang a banner.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Hunter.
Hold on. You're telling me they got a national championship rifle team and they're worried about suing people? Seems like the rifle team could just go solve some problems.
Good point. We got
the rifle team could solve a few problems for me. So if you have contact information,
This podcast does not condone violence.
I do. I don't know about the podcast, but I condone violence.
Zach, you're in the middle of banner hanging.
Nah. Yeah, we referenced him a little bit earlier, but McNeese's manager, Amir Khan, we're going to hang a banner in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Backyard baseball legend.
Became the first ever student manager to get his own NIL deal.
That's so awesome, dude.
He has 2.
No, he now has 3.
Wow.
He is up to 3 deals. He has signed deals with Buffalo Wild Wings, if you're listening. Tick. Tick. I
appreciate the enunciation.
I hope they're not listening.
I don't know what that is, but it doesn't
And
sound like
Insomnia
ticket website.
Cookies.
And what cookies?
Insomnia Cookies.
Is that the one by you, Landon? Oh, that place freaking rules.
That is the place I like because they have vegan cookies for me.
As a resident fat kid, that cookie place is amazing.
So he's in his second year as the manager under Will Wade, who we talked about him being the head coach there. And now with them in the NCAA tournament, this is about to get even crazier for this dude.
Love it.
Which is awesome. So let me find the numbers I was looking for here. Okay, so the last 3 weeks, he has increased 8,700 followers on TikTok.
Love it.
700 on Instagram and 1,100 on the everything app X.
That's 1,100 more than we have.
Don't you dare call it that.
Yeah, it's Twitter, Zach.
Yeah, it's Twitter.
Well, I was just reading this article, so. Okay, here's my favorite part of this, though, is his quote. Did you see his quote?
I have not.
If they kept manager stats for rebounding and wiping up wet spots on the court, I'd put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers.
Hey, dude, ride your 15 minutes, man.
So good. Let's go.
Chills.
I hope they cut to this kid 80 times on Thursday or whatever day they play. It might be Friday. I don't know. But I can't wait to watch it. So we're already hanging a banner. They're the Southland champs, but this kid needs his own little section in Lake Charles. So that's my hang the banner down there for McNeese.
Landon, you got one yet?
Yes, I do.
Whoa,
Let me pull it up here real quick. I'm hanging a banner for the NIT. They invited South Alabama to play. The coach told the players that they were going to the NIT, and 30 minutes later, they rescinded the invite.
Why?
So the full story, and I'm going to try to read this real quick and refresh my memory. Basically, they sent an invite to them because I forget who it was.
UC Riverside.
UC Riverside said that they already had a commitment to the CBI and they couldn't play in the NIT. So the coach basically says, hey, I'm going to tell my guys. And they're like, okay, go tell them. Yes, it's official. He tells them 30 minutes later, like 11 o'clock Sunday night, they call back and says, hey, UC Riverside is back in. Sorry, we got to rescind it. Never mind.
That's tough, man.
Boom.
Never mind.
And you would think, okay, maybe now the CBI has some space to throw a bone to them. Maybe they'll throw a bone to them. Nope, season over.
Goodness.
Yeah. Can we stop with all these other tournaments?
They're garbage. They don't mean
anything to anyone. I mean, NIT tournament.
The NIT at least is like we know what it is. It's established. It's like the next best.
It's the not in
teams.
tournament.
But
the
like,
not in
come on with
Whenever
this
Texas
BBI
won
and
the
the
NIT,
CIT and the WBI and the
I know where you're going with that, Landon.
EFG.
I do love when a Texas or a North Carolina or somebody sneaks into the NIT, but it's even funnier when they don't win it.
Now,
well,
now
like,
they,
I
they
love it
do
whenever they
have,
do win it,
they-
and
When
then
it's
they're like,
Boise or Utah State or
now,
I love
now
whenever
they
they
do
win it.
have they do have a new interesting tournament this year, the college basketball crown
I
tournament
saw that.
or whatever.
yeah, what
And
is
In Vegas.
it's well, hold on, Herod. That the reason that I'm saying it's better than the others is that it's the first tournament that is giving players NIL money for participating in the tournament. So it's an interesting concept.
West Virginia should go play in that. They could pay their legal fees.
They should do like
They declined it too.
they should just do some 3-on-3 stuff then or something, But like
right, yeah,
it pulls your what I hate about it is from our perspective is it pulls your support staff away while you got teams that are in season in the spring that need you, and you're in the middle of nowhere doing some dumb tournament that nobody cares about.
When Brett did the CBI a few years ago, he literally was like, "Do not send a photographer. Do not send an SID. Like, we're sending one trainer, and we do not care. I just want my guys to get a few more games."
Yeah.
which is
That's the
exactly
way to
how
handle it.
should be
That's
done.
the method.
Yeah, 100%.
Hunter, you want to go? You want to go here? Or you want to go last?
I'll go last.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stick with baseball as I do. I'm gonna hang a banner for my guy Joey Gallo. He's going through some things, man.
Ugh.
So last week he challenged a pitch in spring training with the new automated system. It was a called strike 3. They showed the replay and the pitch is almost middle. There was zero debate from anybody. Even the announcers were like, "Yeah, I don't really know why he's challenging this." But it's very obvious throughout his decade plus in the big leagues that he just doesn't know what the strike zone is. And I'm gonna rip him to shreds in 3 up, 3 down next week. But he's converted to a pitcher now, which is a weird thing for somebody who doesn't know where the strike zone is. Also, he requested a release from the White Sox that literally were the worst team in the history of the sport last year. If you can't make the White Sox roster right now, dude, like maybe pitching isn't the answer. Maybe retiring is the answer.
I mean, I remember him being
Especially
an
as a
all
pitcher.
I remember him being an all or nothing hitter. Is he even all anymore? Like,
No.
can he even...
Here's 2 things that Joey Gallo's never learned to do: hit off-speed pitches and use anything on the outer, 3/4 of the plate. He cannot hit the ball the other way. This isn't. This guy's got a lot of power, and he's 25, and maybe in a few years he'll hit. This is 10 or 12 years in the big leagues of hitting 140 in the big league. Like it's. If he was going to fix it, he would have fixed it. But I just don't know that going to be a pitcher is the answer, and I feel bad for him because it just kind of seems like he doesn't know when to hang it up and when to quit chasing the dream. But it's
like
sad.
It's like the opposite of Rick Ankiel.
Yes, Gallo actually had 2 40 home run seasons with Texas, and he can play literally all over the diamond. Apparently, he threw 95 in high school, which is great, but like you're not 18 anymore. So I'm going to hang a banner to Joey Gallo's dignity.
The dude he's hit under 200
A lot.
in 4 straight seasons.
Yeah. And
Why
for
does he
awful
still have a
teams.
contract?
Sorry, 5 straight seasons.
5 straight seasons. Yeah, he's not good. All right, Hunter, I'm done.
Do I get a hang?
Yeah.
Okay,
I forgot
I
Cass
get a
was
hang a
here.
banner.
Hi, Cass.
Hi.
That's because Hunter didn't introduce her.
If I hit the share button, will that share my screen with you guys?
Yes, but not with our viewers.
Maybe.
Well,
true, 'cause
that's
this is audio.
okay. Well, that's fine, but I want you guys to see it.
Let's see if this works.
Okay, well, I'm
Joey
going to
Gallo's
try.
Also,
Are you
Joey Gallo's
Choose
also
what
a
to
2-time
share.
All-Star somehow.
Let's say entire
Joey Gallo's a
screen.
2-time All-Star because every team has to have an All-Star.
He was a two-time.
Okay.
He was an All-Star in 2020 or 2021 and hit 199
with the Dodgers.
Okay.
Pull it back up. No, it was the year that he was with Texas and the Yankees.
Oh, I knew he was his last full year in Texas.
He struck out 213 times that year.
Did it work, Cass?
Whatever. Okay.
212 times more than Hunter struck out his entire college career.
Well, it told me that I needed to. Oh, no. It says I'll have to restart Chrome. Dang it.
You're sharing permissions. Yeah.
I remember my
Okay.
first podcast.
Well, I
Do
don't
you
know.
want to text it to me, Cass, and I can share it?
Yes.
It's so funny that the grandma of the group is having trouble with technology.
Got the glasses down.
Listen. Chill.
Just chill. Is that Emily I see?
It is. Emily, come say hello.
Emily, filibuster for us.
Could it be Baylor? Hi.
Talk about Baylor really quick while I find this thing that I want to share with them. Yeah, put those on. Talk about Baylor.
Baylor?
I don't have anything to say about Baylor, but what I do have to say is that I think UNC fully deserves to be in the tournament. And honestly, as a millennial, I think everyone deserves a trophy. And the fact that we're even willing to let somebody not be in the tournament, even though they tried their best. Come on, guys. Be nice.
That's honestly a fair.
Zach, your wife says the best thing.
That's a fair take.
She's always
Sorry,
so
I
prepared
had it saved
every
to
single
the
time.
computer and not to my
Also,
phone.
it's a real shame that we didn't
She's
lose
honestly probably the best ad-libber I've ever met in my life.
It's a real shame we didn't lose the Animal Butthole podcast.
No.
Yeah, that one made it.
I have never in my life laughed harder than that stretch of about 10 minutes of that podcast. It was fantastic.
Well, that's a sloth.
Yeah, my favorite part was Cameron actually getting one.
And who was Cam the one who was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna get this"?
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you. Like every time you're like, "Oh, you know what? I think I know."
Cameron's face, his face when she said, "Cameron, you got it right," is priceless. If y'all haven't checked it, look, we're 2 hours in. If you've made it this far and you somehow haven't watched episode 17, go watch that of the trivia. It's fantastic. All right, Cash, you ready for your hang
We
banner?
bought all the time we could buy.
I'm ready. I sent it to Landon.
Yeah, please hold.
Goodness.
Landon, what
Good
animal
God.
did you get correct?
Now we got the oldest and the youngest
Yeah.
trying to figure out technology.
I'm sorry. Listen, number one, fuck all of you. I just wanted to say that out loud.
I can't believe it took you this long to say that.
Well, I'm trying to be polite.
Oh my God. We're 8 hours into this podcast and we're still trying
Listen,
to
you can cut all this
married.
shit except for what Emily said.
It's because we gave Cameron
And you
a
can tell
44
everyone
minute
that I'm
rant.
older, bad with technology, but that's just dumb and stupid because it's not true.
Grandma Cass puts her teeth in a jar when she goes to bed every night, people.
I wish they would come out.
Hunter, why don't you hang a banner while Cass is...
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to steal your thunder.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Well, there it is.
I'm going to hang a banner for the White Lotus.
The White Lotus.
I don't know if any of you guys watch it. It's a phenomenal show. It's absolutely hilarious. But this man here, played by Jason Isaacs, who most of America and the world may know as Lucius Malfoy, father of Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter series, plays a financial advisor who has committed many crimes. And when his family goes on a trip to Thailand, he finds out why he's in freaking Thailand, that it's all falling down. And he is a Duke alum, as is one of his sons. And his daughter is currently at UNC. Their youngest son is deciding between UNC and Duke. And so it's really fun to see that little rivalry played out. But good God, did it give us this amazing screen cap. For those of you listening at home, if you've seen The White Lotus, you know what I'm talking about. But this man is holding a gun to his head with his Duke t-shirt on. And I just think it's going to be a really great meme for years and years to come, whether it's applicable in this tournament when Duke loses early, or just in future years when they just do stupid shit. And God, I love it. It's a phenomenal pop culture moment. I love when sports and other things I love can come together, and it's just really great to have a guy with a gun to his head wearing a Duke shirt. That really makes it for me.
I feel
So
like there's a little less Duke hatred this year because they don't have quite a guy like Grayson Allen. You know, I don't think there's like one.
No, they're just
crazy
actually
hate
good
up
at
there.
basketball this year, which is fine. Again, like UNC, ride or die, but like I really don't hate Duke like that. But this will be amazing for use in the future, and I just wanted to share that with you all.
I love it, Cass. All right. I am going to hang a banner and we're going to get out of here as Herod has dipped at this point. I love it. But this one's going to hit right in the feels, especially for me and Landon and any fans of Disney World. Hang a banner for It's Tough to Be a Bug, the Bugs Life show at Disney World in Orlando inside the Tree of Life. It had its last show yesterday, March 16th, as we are recording. It had a run of 9,828 days as a show at Disney World. I saw it when I was 7. I saw it when I was 11. I saw it when I was 27. It's fantastic. But the Tree of Life has lost a little bit of life today or yesterday as we were recording. I'm very, very sad that It Is Tough to Be a Bug is no longer at Disney World. It is being replaced by a Zootopia show, so that will be entertaining. But for the kids of the 90s, it was kind of that year-old moment because Bugs Life came out, I think, 1998, right after Toy Story did. It was Pixar's second feature film. Great movie, and it was something that, you know, the kids of, you know, back then now are parents, and you want to take your kids back to that just to be like, I experienced this show when I was a kid, and I want to do that for you too. I won't get that opportunity because they are taken down. It's Tough to Be a Bug, which stinks, but excited to see what they do with Zootopia. But hang a banner for It's Tough to Be a Bug. 9,826 days in the Tree of Life at Disney World's Animal Kingdom. And that will wrap us up here for Press Box After Dark, episode 19, 18, whatever we want to call it. It's March. Man, what a time. Cameron, great stuff. Sorry West Virginia didn't get in, but if you like this podcast, if you made it this far, please follow us on Spotify and on YouTube at Pressbox After Dark. You can also follow us on Twitter at PressboxAD and help us grow. We definitely will be firing off some tweets for March Madness, so give us a like, give us a follow there, help us grow a little bit during the tournament. That'd be awesome. But that's at PressboxAD. You can check out all of our blogs on our website, PressboxAfterDark.com. You can find that in the Twitter bio. And hey, if you do like tournaments and if you do like filling out brackets and you use the ESPN Tournament Challenge app, we are not sponsored, but we do have a public free-to-join group. Type in Press Box After Dark in the group search bar and just enter your bracket in there. And if you win, and I can find a way to contact you, whether that's via email or DM on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, I will send you a sticker, and we have a miniature trophy that I'm sending out to the winner. So Press Box After Dark on the Tournament Challenge app, Press Box After Dark on Spotify and YouTube, and Press Box AD on Twitter. All right, y'all, we're like 2 hours in. I have nothing else to add. Let the madness begin. Anything else?
It's time for the Sonic drive of the game. And perhaps, as far as I'm concerned, the drive of the game may be my drive home from Starkville to Tupelo.
You can't fire me.
Do it anyway.
I got a contract. I'm Rance Wilder.